Deleted Session, July 4th, 1976. Rob noted, I asked Jane to hold this session so that we could get information on two questions. First, the sales of her books, both hardcover and paperback. Second, her status concerning her symptoms. She said, "Good evening. The session to cover the points you requested. Now, you mentioned some important issues pertaining to the books yourself this evening, having to do with their particular nature. When you publish a paperback of ours, this is like publishing a new book for the first time. I am speaking of our books only, not, for example, of novels or other occult tracts. If you remember, it took a while for the set material with prentice to do well. It was distributed to bookstores and areas specifically involved with the conventional occult field. Even though such people are familiar with the general area of our work, still the book did not fit into a general mold. It took a while then, though not too long, before the book began to sell well. The other books quickly followed with, to that degree, a now built-in sales advantage. The general public, however, has been obviously largely ignorant of the books. Publishing them in paperback presents a different picture. Again, they do not fit into the overall occult picture as even the general public understands it. There is no position, no god from the mountaintop, and no dawn or doxomedian to be taken advantage of by the spirits or otherwise. The work is not simplistic. It will take longer then for the general public than it did, for example, with the Seth material hardcover, for several reasons. As you mentioned, you are outside, not fitting into any acceptable mold. The general public, moreover, in those terms, does not know how to respond. Many, picking up those paperbacks, do so unimposed, and are unfamiliar with any such books. They cannot laugh the matter off. The books require personal questioning. Some people are frightened. They are also intrigued. But many put off spending more money, say, for a hardcover book, because this would involve a commitment involving the ideas themselves. The books are immediate in a way, for example, that the Castaneda books are not. Castaneda speaks of what is really exotic behavior from your cultural viewpoint. We are saying that changes can be made from within the culture. You do not have to be an Indian guru or appear and disappear at will, so the books invite instant challenge. People do not feel silly buying such a paperback, but many of these people, in the general public now, have to make certain mental adjustments before they will spend more. Spending more means that they consider the ideas of to be worthwhile. The 3 paperbacks are like balloons sent up with news items written upon them. While there is a log, therefore the overall picture is as I have given it in the past. Rob noted that the books will do well. They said the paperbacks are important, regardless of sales values, because they appear in the ordinary marketplace, out of esoteric copy holes. You have a real core of readers who were already acquainted generally with occult books, but to a larger overall extent, that is a steady but dead-end road. It can be counted upon, may grow slightly, but will not affect the overall culture to any considerable degree. Moreover, from this other general, Rob noted, paperback, said market, you will consistently pick up a newer group of readers. To some extent, you have been hitting the underground movements, well and good and important. You are competing now, as you were not before, however, in that general market, with all of the conventional cultural goodies. As mentioned, you are not packaging our material either in such a way that it builds upon the cliches of the occult field believed in as the public sees it. Many of these people also are generally not book readers. Ruber mentioned that many are not culturally advantaged. They do not naturally go into bookstores, but they will. Give us a moment. The paperbacks will not go out of print except for short periods. They will not build up quickly in sales, but they will, and they will provide a dependable income, in which the entire picture will change. The paperback personal reality will be highly important in the ultimate changes that do take place. You are in an in-between period. If you went out in a grand manner, publicizing the books, appearing on shows, you could indeed quicken the pace, but in so doing, other intangibles would also be altered. There is a great difference between keeping the people always in mind and playing to be the crowd for whatever reasons, but there would be a tendency for purposes to be altered. It is not that those challenges would not be met, but in meeting them, you would end up with a different kind of work and experience. I have nothing against bestsellers, and as I predicted, the books will succeed financially beyond anything you would have thought, but over a period of time, in a dependable fashion, and in a way that will also best be suited to the temper of the times. That is, the books will have a strong active part to play over the period of your lifetimes, rather than, for example, selling in the millions in a year or two, then vanishing from the scene. We are helpfully educating people, and this does not give you a bestseller overnight, even when my humor is added to amuse people. You will be more than financially comfortable, far better off in the future, though not necessarily in the near future, like next year, than you are now. To be an overnight financial sensation, however, would present a reality that does not fit into your joint plans and purposes. This does not mean there is anything wrong with such an overnight sensation. Most likely, Ruber will do some teaching in the future, not immediately, with a different format entirely. Your purposes and the purposes of the three publishers all mix and merge, with unconscious knowledge of the importance of the books and the ways in which they are to be presented. Not that there won't also be some natural misunderstandings here and there also. Issues operate so clear to me, it is difficult for me to understand that they seem to escape your notice. It is hard for me to separate them. They are minute to me. The two Benton cells, for example, material and Seth speaks, served purposes for you and Ruber, and Prentice as well. The immediate money resulting with the contract served as financial reinforcement at a time when you and Ruber needed it. This was more important than you seem to remember. Rob noted, although I do keep this in mind. So does Jane, I think. They said Ruber was worried about money in the bank then, not 6 months or a year, hence with royalties. Prentice wanted to set up a paperback mass connection, for to them this means that a book is good and has value financially. They also wanted quick cash. It was a poor year financially speaking for them. They also needed financial reinforcement. You and Ruber also wanted the books to be in the general market. The paperbacks have not cut down the occult market that you had secured. Those people have already read the books and are waiting for more. There would have been a lag in sales until the next book, which then triggers the rail to pick up any of the others they might have missed along the way. The paperbacks in the meantime are picking up new readership that will broaden your base, sales-wise, then you would more or less be in the same position now, whether or not the books had been sold to mass markets. The advantage, however, has not yet shown, for the people are still immersed in the books they have. Take your break and open our beer. The books require far more on the part of the reader than most books. Therefore, our readers feel a sense of accomplishment when they are done. On the other hand, their ideas are so challenged that it takes them a while. They read one book several times. Unknown reality will do far better than even personal reality did. Prentice knows that the hardcovers will continue to do well over the years. They also understand that the general market, paperbacks do not last. That is, they come apart. The people who really enjoy these books will buy Prentice editions as their own wear out, using hardcovers to make notations, etc. Many also will not spend money for a hardcover unless they have first found the book valuable enough through reading the paperbacks. If you have further questions on this subject, ask me now or later. Ra said, well, it will be later then, I guess. They said, give us a moment. The next subject, then. There is little I can say that I have not said. When you are concerned, it is because each time the body behaves differently. Rubber is in the final process needed and necessary to strengthen the legs and bring about a completely different, more normal bodily stance. There have been in the past some improvements of note, but no overall strengthening of the legs. For example, there have been relaxations and he felt better, but now we are dealing with overall definite changes in which the ligaments are being extended. Muscles have been relaxed in the past, while still not deadening. They were relaxed while maintaining unnatural poses. Those relaxations, which were pleasant, led to a situation in which the unnatural poses that were operationally dependable began to vanish. The ligaments and the muscles are in motion now. To some extent, the old dependable stance does not work. The new sought for natural stance has not yet been accomplished, but it is now actively in the process of being attained. His characteristic posture worked for what it was, and it was stuck together in all of its parts. It is becoming unlocked. In that process, and only at times, there are periods when it seems his body, or certain portions of it, are less dependable. There have been two main areas, the head joint area, held in a particular position, more or less, resulting in particular positions of the shoulders and arms. The other area involved ligaments and muscles that attach to the thighs to the trunk, resulting in the behavior of the knees and legs in general. This entire area, here and here, tightened the knee area and held it. The knee joints were then restrained, held in. The two areas resulted in his stance. These have to be corrected while he maintains balance. The thigh areas and all of their parts are activated now, usually in an alternating pattern. The constant interplay and healing process has its own rhythm, so that certain portions of a leg can rest, for example. I do not want to overstate the work being involved, for it is natural work. What Ruber experiences, however, as soreness is the vital sensation of renewed impulse and activity and use. What can appear as disquieting, as for example, his behavior on occasion at the garage way, is instead the body's abandonment of past dependable but limited action and its attempt to initiate new response. The process is well along and will lead to various temporary, better but in between stages, as his stance gradually corrects itself. It is understandable that he feels strange at times, for he has given up an old, dependable but limited framework. The only way now is ahead, and accepting those natural body changes that are a part of that healing process. These are the final stages necessary so that a new sense is achieved. And again, soon you will not need to go on faith as you do now, because enough adjustment will have taken place all over so that the results will show an easier motion and indefinite beneficial alterations of stance and working ability. From then, unnoticeable changes will be fairly automatic and accelerated, but you are now finishing up the groundwork. The mouth and the jaw is also in a constant state of change for the same reasons, so that the area will be sometimes comfortable and sometimes most bothersome. The shape of his face is changing. The tenseness of his jaws held everything else in certain positions. At times, the shoulders as well as the legs have been sore, most bothersome to Ruber. When this occurs, the relationship is beneficially altered between the two areas given. That is the end of the session, unless you have questions. Ralph said, next time then. Say said, my heartiest regards then. And happy centennial. Ralph said, okay, Seth. Thank you very much.